There is now this desperate save. We need to make sure that the world knows before she retires or whatever, none of this failure was her fault. Kennedy was the one that wanted to build it around girls. Kennedy's the one who talked about how she didn't care about appeasing 50-year-old white dude Star Wars fans or whatever. She's the one that got Leslie Headland in there. She's the one that wanted to bring in Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, which it looked like that Rey movie is gone now too. She did the interview with Variety a few weeks ago, whatever it was. They talked about all the new stuff that Charmin's working on. Guess what wasn't mentioned at all? No Rey movie, no Star Wars, no Lucasfilm, no Disney, nothing. Renegade Online. This was the most bizarre thing that came out. Going back to Star Wars, trust me, stick with me on this because this was so freaking weird. Apart from all of the Ben Solo crap, all the BS this week, and it's not really Kathy's fault, it's really all two evil white men named Bob and Alan. This was the best part. Kylo Ren and Kamir, yeah, the Acolyte, that dude.
Smilo Ren.
Yeah, two of the best Star Wars characters in recent years. Hold that thought. This week has seen news that shows both characters' journeys are far from over. Let's hope they both come back soon. In the words of Luke, no one's ever really gone. Let me tell y'all what this is all about. So, who was the y'all had a piece on
what is their
TPP.
obsession with toxic white men? They hate us, but yet they love these creepy looking, queerdo looking, toxic white men. What is with this? Loki's another one that they're into.
But the idea was to fill everybody, and I had another post. I'm going to go back.
Beta fish, Tom. All they buy at the store is beta fish.
So the story was here that Kamir, if we had gotten an Acolyte season 2, according to Leslie Headland, we would have found out that Kamir would have been the guy that started the Knights of Ren.
Who had all of 5 minutes in the sequel trilogy because JJ came up with them, and then Ryan said, never mind. And then JJ, when he came back the third time, said, you know what? We don't have time for that. We're going to put 75 different Palpatines in here. That's how we're going to make this thing work out.
This is it. Kamir the Stranger eventually became the first Ren and founded the Knights of Ren, reveals Leslie Headland in The Art of the Acolyte book.
So basically, the Knights of Ren are a bunch of guys who shop at Hot Topic. Gotcha.
They bathe naked while Dark Plagueis the Weird watches them.
They like to show off their chesticles to women. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
This is all so freaking... The Art of the Acolyte. Like, first of all, one of the most poorly rated shows in Disney Plus for Star Wars in terms of viewership. Absolutely one of the worst writing jobs of any television show in the history of ever. And I don't mean that just because it had the gay space lesbian witches in it and stuff because it was stupid for that reason. No, the writing was absolute hot trash. I mean, nothing even flowed from one scene to the next. Character motivations, if y'all don't remember, changed every 5 seconds. Inexplicable stupidity throughout the entire show. But that wasn't all. They had hit rock bottom and they wanted to dig deeper. Somebody tell me who's selling more copies. Is it The Art of the Acolyte or is it going to be The High Republic? I don't know, but it shocks and astounds me that Lucasfilm even bothered to put together a book on the Acolyte, not a novelization of the god-awful TV show that nobody watched.
You know why? Because they thought it was going to be marketing for season 2. This was approved back when they thought they were going to get multiple seasons. I'll guarantee you. This is a Leslie Headland kind of decision. And why is it coming up now? Because the Saving Ben Solo thing that they're trying to do, Leslie's figured out, wait a minute, I can, if that's going to get a pressure campaign, I'm going to attach myself like a little leech and ride this sucker because I got nothing else to do. Nobody likes me. All I have was Star Wars because I'm Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant. The only nut jobs that would definitely bring me on board, that's Disney. Maybe I can get that again. I'd like another sip of that Kool-Aid, baby.
That's it. Quote from Leslie Headland, it was in the design of the character as well as knowing that we were going to introduce Darth Plagueis, who has to end up with Palpatine as his apprentice. Following the rule of two, a precept that limited the Sith to just two at any given time, a master and apprentice, one way to keep it going is if the stranger is the first knight of Ren, part of a Sith-adjacent cult that we know eventually survives. Yeah, but they're such a bunch of losers that Kylo takes the whole order out in 3 seconds at the end of the third sequel trilogy movie.
They so want like these gray / mid-road Jedi / Sith to exist so bad.
It's
so bad.
I can't.
Put another gay diverse woman in it. Make it more fucking lit.
And I'm going to make it very, very, very clear.
I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman. Will you check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there?
I promise there's not.
Will you please just look and make sure Kathleen Kennedy isn't under my bed?
Next, you'll find out that Amanda Stenberg's character was the only surviving Knight of Ren to make it to Kylo, and she survived, and she's out there in the galaxy somewhere bringing balance by being a gray Jedi. Whatever, who cares?
To be in any way, shape, or form a part of the wave that is ushering in inclusion and safety for Black nerds. it's like, it's my dream come true.
Tom is represented.
I don't. Not gonna work here anymore anyway. No, and I don't care.
Can we just go with the
power of one, the power of two, the power of
trash?
Did you make those clips today? How long have you had those clips? I love that last one.
I've had those for a long time.
I did not listen. I have not seen Forky say trash at the end of it. That's great. I love it.
Oh, we spammed this button
trash
about 20 times on Wednesday.
Oh, I see. You manually played Forky at the end of that. I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, because we were talking about sequel trilogy.
Trash.
That's great
Jedi?
time.
Trash.
How about the Acolyte?
Trash.
Hey, what did they do to Luke Skywalker?
Trash.
Oh, okay. Merchandise sales?
Trash.
Any Hasbro got anything?
Trash.
Can we go back to with this?
Trash.
Okay.
Well, might as well release a new 4K version of the original.
Clever. Yeah, she's clever.
Oh my God! It's again. I when I saw this, I'm like, Mike, this stop. And like I said, all of this just screams like there is now this desperate save at the 11th hour. We need to make sure that the world knows before she retires or whatever that it was none of this failure was her fault. She had all the best ideas. She was going to make Star Wars work.
Bob's fault.
And Bob Iger told her no. The only part of the story that we know that was legit, because it was in Bob Iger's book, was the fact that, you know, he worked over George pretty hard for a few years, finally convinced him to sell Star Wars to him, and then promptly turned around and took his treatments for the sequels and threw them in the trash after demanding that they would be part of the deal so he'd get rid of them and then go do their own thing. That doesn't preclude the fact that Kennedy was the one that wanted to build it around girls. It doesn't preclude the fact that Kennedy's the one that talked about how she didn't care about appeasing 50-year-old white dude Star Wars fans or whatever. It's just, look, it's the same thing. She's the one that got Leslie Headland in there. She's the one that wanted to bring in Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, which had looked like, you know, that Rey movie is gone now too, right? She did the interview with Variety a few weeks ago, whatever it was. They talked about all the new stuff that Charmin's working on. Guess what wasn't mentioned at all? No Rey movie, no Star Wars, no Lucasfilm, no Disney, nothing.
And in all of this chatter about how it's Bob's fault, and I'm not a Bob apologist, of course. And I go through my
nobody here is.
Yeah, I go through on my Patreon in great detail how this is a false narrative. But I'll just share a little bit of that very quickly.
I've been saying that all week,
folks. Yeah. Last Jedi. What? Remember this? JJ made The Force Awakens, and he did the script. And behind his back, because he gave advice on, he wrote a roadmap for how this is supposed to go. Behind his back, Kathleen Kennedy's all-female stories group at Lucasfilm that was featured in the New York Times as a huge, it was groundbreaking. She had broken the glass ceiling. Kathleen Kennedy's all-female story group that had Kiri Hart, K-I-R-I-H-A-R-T, Kiri Hart at the top of it. They were meeting at their homes with bonfires with Rian Johnson. They created The Last Jedi. They didn't care what was going on with The Force Awakens. In fact, they didn't even know until 2 months before they were ready to go on the Last Jedi what was happening in The Force Awakens, because they didn't care. And Kathy loved all of that. She loved it so much. She loved the process so much that Kathy said, we got to have more of this. We got to have you guys working together. Oh, man, this female all-women story group with Ryan is just phenomenal, because I've seen The Last Jedi, and I love it, and we're going to get another trilogy. We're going to get a Rian Johnson trilogy. And you can't go back and retcon that, folks, because it's in articles back then. We can go look it up. It's there. They were bragging about it. So you can't go back and say now, it wasn't really Kathy. It was Bob all along. No! Bob's got plenty to be blamed for. But Kathy is the chief architect of the Star Wars of today.
Yeah, without question. Without question. But again, this is all, like we've been talking about all week, this is nothing more than a con job to attempt a legacy save for Kathy before she retires. That's it. Don't blame me. I didn't do it. Okay, honey. Yeah, you know what? It was all Bob and Alan's fault. They made all these decisions. And then that's why didn't they keep making Star Wars movies then? Because what was being done didn't work. That was on you. I mean, just like at Marvel Phase 4 and 5, that's all on Feige's shoulders, 100% of it. Now, you can say that the buck stops here, right? And Bergman and Iger could have overridden him and say, no, you can't. We're not getting rid of it. You're not going with like the D team with all these, weirdo characters that failed in all the comic books that we've been making the last few years at Disney. No way. No, they let it go through because they figured, hey, it doesn't matter. It says Marvel in front of it. Audiences will still show up.
And let's remember,
they said the same thing with Star Wars, and it worked for the first movie.
Marvel also had a lot more success, right? Like that's the difference.
That's what I'm saying is they thought they could keep riding that. They thought they could do that originally with Star Wars. Again, it worked for the first movie because nobody knew what they were walking into yet. And by the time the second movie came out, that was all she wrote, people.
And remember, why did Colin Trevorrow walk? Now, they'll retcon this and they'll go back and say, oh, it's because he underperformed at the box office and we got rid of him.
I remember that story.
He left because he said to the all-women story group and to Rian Johnson, I can't make this third movie without Luke Skywalker. You have to, I don't care what you do in your movie, but he has to be alive at the end of your film.
You brought me in to write a script for the conclusion of a trilogy. You've already killed Luke, and you've already killed the big bad that you set up.
Right.
What do I have left to do?
Well, what's funny is he had the script that leaked through Robert Meyer Burnett and other means.
Yeah.
That was confirmed to be real. I mean, in that version, Luke Skywalker is dead. Right? But Leia is also very much alive and a large part of that script. And it would be very easy. And you can see where Trevorrow was coming from. He's like, look, all you got to do is let Luke live at the end. And then I can work with that. Right? Go ahead and they should have. Right? Because I think everybody was ready knowing that Carrie Fisher had died a year before the movie came out. That the chances of her dying in this film just went up astronomically. Right? And that moment when Ben Solo or Kylo Ren, whatever you want to call him, goes in and shoots that ship, and it looks like he just killed both of his parents, right? Committing the ultimate sin. And then she comes to life, right? Like, it's like, what the hell is this shit? I remember that is the moment for me when the movie shifted, because I'm sitting here getting teary-eyed going, goodbye, Princess Leia. This is it. Ready for, that moment. And when she's sitting there and freezing up in space, I'm like, okay, this is it. She's dying. We're done. This is her last hurrah. Yep. And she opens her eyes and starts flying back like Mary Poppins. I think a lot of people are just like, what the F?
Mary Poppins, yo!
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. It's like, did they just watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or something and then just made this?
I swear they did.
Because that's what it feels like. I mean, at that moment in time, that's when Trevorrow's like, look, all you got to do is give me Luke, because then I can flip that in the script. I can just give all of Leia's lines to Luke.
And guess
have
what?
Him be the trainer to trainee Rey, and because if you read the script, it's actually the best of the three films.
And guess what, Tom? If they had kept Luke alive, then the rise of Palpatine, no matter how bad the first two were, it would have made $2 billion at the box office because people would have come back to say, oh, there's a reason Luke's been this way. They're going to explain it. He's going to be the Jedi Master you've been waiting for. And it would have made $2 billion based on Star Wars fans watching for 30 or 40 years and saying, I have to see this. The Last Jedi was so terrifically terrible that it managed to make people say, no, I don't care anymore. I don't care. You have your Star Wars, Disney.
Well, look, we can look at movies in history and how they've shifted a view of an audience. I think going back through film history and years from now in college when they do like film school and stuff like that, if there's still movies, 50, 100 years from now, The Last Jedi will be a chapter and how to destroy a franchise, right? We've seen a lot of movies come and go where they've effed up and yet they can still, like, look at horror is a great example, right? We brought up horror earlier as a synonymous with kind of like how anime is playing right now in theaters and it has its own built-in audience, right? How many times have horror films done the crappiest of horror movies and then turn around and all they got to do is just go, well, that last movie didn't happen. Okay, we're just going to go forward. I mean, Halloween has literally been technically rebooted 5 times. Okay, like at this point. So you can do these things and not kill a franchise. The Last Jedi killed a franchise. And not only did it kill a franchise, it killed the arguably biggest film franchise of all time. Right? Like nothing comes close to Star Wars until Marvel came around. And the only reason Marvel started eating its lunch is because Star Wars started doing so bad. Look at The Force Awakens. You guys said it. The proof is in the pudding. What was it? $2.3 billion in box office for The Force Awakens, I think it was.
2.1?
Somewhere,
a little over
maybe
2.
It was 1. Maybe, yeah, but it's still over $2 billion. Not very many movies have managed to get that point.
Well, especially not back in 2015. I mean, that was, again, different era. I mean, that $2 billion in 2015 would be like at least over 3 today.
Even if you do the ticket sales or by ticket, by ticket, or you do inflation on the original films, right? They're still some of the biggest, most viewed films in history. Let's not even talk about video sales, ancillary stuff beyond that.
Yeah, no, that all died.
It did. And the only shot they got, and this is where like Pro and I have been kind of chit-chatting in the background. And I know you did a story on this recently, Pro. I don't know if you did personally, if you wrote it, but I think Marvin did or somebody did, where about, this 50th anniversary release of the Star Wars films, or first Star Wars film might actually be the original version of the film. At first, I'm like, there's no way it's going to be. But now I'm starting to see things that are making me wonder if it might actually be that.
There's allegedly been chatter that they found the, whatever.
It's not about finding anything. They just had to scan the original film or use the scans they had before George did his tinkering. Because this is one thing that the guys from like, ILM and other places have said a million times over. We don't know why George says the original film doesn't exist. He's full of shit. He had to scan the negative to make the special edition.
Right. Absolutely.
Like it doesn't make any sense, right? The original film exists. And they have said they've had special private screenings at Disney's theater thing there with like even, I think Colin Trevorrow was one of the people who was lucky enough to see one of these screenings of this very pristine version of Star Wars they have. Here's the thing. I've seen some documentation that leads me to believe they are scanning the original negative along with the inner positive stuff that they have to and other stuff for effects. And they have a 70 millimeter blow up to compare for color timing.
Yep.
So that to me tells, and it's not just Star Wars. I guess it's all 3 of the original films. So.
Oh yeah. Well, they did it. They did it with all 3 back in the.
And how many times have we said that's one thing? If Disney wants to make a bunch of money right now,
right?
Put the original versions out. Right. Just the original, unaltered.
Yeah.
77, 1980, and 83 versions of Star Wars.
Not Disney Plus, physical media only, and vault them. That's it. Go back to the old days.
You'll make more. It'll be the biggest selling 4K Blu-rays of all time.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.